Syrians fleeing that country's civil war are finding it hard to settle in Europe or the United States, but Canada is embracing them. This morning's New York Times, right there on the front page, reads, "Refugees encounter a foreign word, welcome." Reporter Jodi Kantor spoke to Canadians who help Syrians find homes, schools, jobs, and a way to navigate their new culture. She found that the process can be surprising, really, for both sides. Jodi Kantor is also a CBS News contributor. Her article is one of the most emailed items on the Times website today. Good morning to you, Jodi Kantor.
Good morning.
You know, people see the word Syria, they see the word refugees, and they say, no thanks, we don't want them here, please don't come. What do you think makes Canadians so open about this?
Canadians, in some ways, are placing the opposite bet on Syrian refugees as a lot of the rest of the world. They're not only taking in Syrian refugees, but they're saying, come into our homes. We're ordinary citizens. We have no connection to the Middle East, but we are going to volunteer our time and money and spend a year of our lives getting you settled.
Why do you think they're doing that?
If you look at the article, it's at nytimes.com/refugees, what you will see is that Canada has a totally different attitude towards immigration and borders. We're at a time of closing, right, of protection, of fear all over the world. Canada wants more population. They have not experienced a 9/11 type event in their lifetime. So what readers are telling us about this article is that they're very moved by the spirit of kind of generosity and trust they see here, because it feels different from what we see elsewhere in the world.
It does feel different after a debate in which many Republican governors said, no, we will block any Syrian refugees in our state. President Obama said we'll take just 10,000 refugees, but so far we've only taken about half that amount?
Yes, and also, to be fair, we don't know what is going to happen with this Canadian project, right? Of course, there is always the fear of terrorism. And not only that, but this is a really odd couple relationship. These are, the people we covered are Toronto residents. They're very much like citizens of New York or San Francisco or Chicago. They're taking in these families. The families we reported on are from small towns. They have first and second grade educations. Only a few of them have what we would think of as
and Jodi,
careers.
They're afraid too. The refugees are afraid who are coming here.
When the these refugees are not used to being wanted or welcomed. They have been barely hanging on for years. And when they find out that a bunch of strangers are going to spend a year helping them, their attitude is, who are you? I can't believe this. What's your ulterior motive?
Like, what's the catch?
Yeah, and also the part of what is fascinating to me about the reporting is watching these two sides work out their relationship, right? I mean, these families eventually have to make money, but should the Syrian women work? That, you know, is not something they would have done back home. Are their husbands comfortable with them working?
You capture the humanity, I think. That's what struck me about the article. I got a lump reading it when you talked about individual stories. Didn't you think?
Yeah, I did. It's humanity and also the culture.
Thank you so much.
You got a merging. I love the photograph. I mean, that's just an extraordinary photograph.
What happens, because it's a year of sponsorship, right? What happens when that year of sponsorship is up?
That is part of the suspense. You know, if you read the story, there are all these emotional moments about the bonds between these people. There's a birth story. And yet you say, when the year is up, does the financial relationship continue? If the families are not self-sufficient, do they get more help? You know, and then in 20 or 30 years, what does their relationship look like? And also, are these new families going to be okay in Canada? Do they have the skills, even the language skills? Some of them are not literate in Arabic, let alone in English. Do they have the skills to function well in Toronto, even after a year?
All right. Jodi Kantor, thank you so much.
Thank you.
But it starts with a good idea.
Yeah.
To welcome them.
Well, especially in the context of the worldwide refugee crisis, which is so stuck, what I think we would say is that this is an interesting area. And there are, by the way, discussions about bringing something like this to the United States.
Thank you, Jodi.
Thank you.